Hey everybody, thanks for clicking on the video. This is David Pendleton again, and we're at it for another tournament. So this week we're looking at the Riverside tournament, and this is going to be your detailed walkthrough for Pro. So we're going to have a lot of really good content in this video. As you can see, a minus 17 round. I've done that twice now, so 2 minus 17s on Pro, which lets me know the path that we have created here is going to be able to be duplicated. So it's going to be really nice. I got a lot of holes figured out, a lot of good tips and tricks to share with everybody watching the video. So do me a favor, please subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. We hit 1,000 viewers from the last tournament, so 1,000 subscribers, I mean, so I can't even believe we're at this point. That's pretty freaking awesome. So thank you for everybody's support, week in and week out. So yeah, please subscribe, hit the like button as well. That seems to be a big deal for YouTube. And then, lastly, keep me in mind. So if you have a really great round and my video helps you out, then please donate to my channel. That helps me out. These things are pretty time consuming to do. So all donations, matter. They really do, and they really help me out. So let's go ahead and hop into, the results of the minus 17. And it's been a little bit different between my 2 minus 17s. So hole number 1, that's a par 4. That's an automatic eagle. Okay, that's one that you have to make if you're going to be winning this tournament. Hole number 2 is a par 3. We'll get these par 3s figured out as a team. Hole number 3 is a very tough hole, in my opinion. And it's a hole that I'm not 100% confident in at right now. As you can see, I hit an albatross on it. I'm not going to do that again. I was very lucky. Sometimes that just happens. Sometimes you get lucky, and I wish we'd have got this one in the finals instead of qualifying. But we'll walk through how to eagle that hole. Still a little bit challenging. Hole number 4, pretty easy par 3 to get a hole-in-one on. Hole number 5 is also a hole, in my opinion, that you're going to have to eagle every single time in order to win this tournament, because scores are going to be off the charts. So I'm going to show you how to nearly drive green on hole number 5. Hole number 6 is a really good albatross opportunity. Hole number 7, now this is a hole that's been a little bit frustrating. This hole I plan on being able to dial in for the next round very consistently for a hole-in-one. I'm very close to finding the line, and it should be 100% consistent no matter what wind you get. Yeah, hole number 8, this one also, I believe, is a must-eagle in order to win this tournament. So that's 3 par 4s that we need to eagle every single time, but they're all very simple, and I'll show you a really good approach on hole number 8 to get you in the game. And then hole number 9 is a hole that I picked up an albatross on, and, obviously I eagled it on this account. So that's the scorecard. That's my thoughts on the tournament. It's going to take a big freaking score in order to compete in this tournament, and I'm not a fan of these. I'm not a fan of when you have to do like a minus 35, minus 36 to even get in the hunt, but it does mix things up. So we got to be on top of our game, as you should have to be in order to win. So let's hop right into the replays. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently this time. So I'm getting a lot of messages wanting to know about money balls, like how come I don't use money balls in my walkthroughs very often. I'm not a big believer that in Pro you need to use money balls in order to compete. Okay, I think if you know the elevation of each hole and you know how to if you have a good strategy and you know how to pull rings and you know how to offset, I believe with any of the free balls, whether it's a Berserker or a Kingmaker, Titan, whatever, I believe you can easily gold banner in Pro as long as you know what you're doing. But I will mix it up, and I'll play some money balls this tournament so I can kind of show you, some different paths. So let's take a look at hole number 1. Hole number 1 is so easy, everybody. It is 20% elevation. This is probably the easiest wind that they've ever given us on this hole. So as you can see here, I'm using a Titan ball with absolute full max backspin, full left side spin, which is 2 bars. And I'm just making sure my ball guideline second bounce has plenty of room over the bunker. I pull 20%. I push it back up about half of a ring. And then I just take a normal shot here. So no overpower. And we're using about 3/4 of a ball of curl to the left. And you can see there is no fear of rough, there's no fear of bunker. You roll onto the fringe. That's a very simple shot, okay? So if you want to use a money ball, here you go. I would recommend using a ball that has side spin 4. Look how much easier it's gonna make the shot. And you're gonna do the same thing when it comes to your backspin. You are gonna go max backspin. We pull 20% elevation. And this time, because of the side spin boost that I get, I went ahead and didn't use any left curl at all. And as you can see, this time we land on the green, making a very simple putt for an eagle. And then here's another one. If you want to know what this shot looks like if you do go ahead and apply curl. So we can fast forward through this. Use about not even half a ball of curl. And the end result at the end of the day is the same. You know, we're in this area of being on the green, being on the fringe. But sadly, I've seen quite a few opponents end up in the sand already on this hole. And again, this one you have to figure out. You have to eagle this in order to even stand a chance of competing in this tournament. But the good news is, it's super, super easy. Okay, so hole number 2, let's talk about this one for a second, because this one I'm really struggling on. And maybe, you know, all you guys and gals out there who are watching this can really help me out. So I've really tinkered around with the elevation, starting anywhere from 10% and then playing it all the way up to 30%. And no matter what I do, I seem to keep missing to the right hand side. So, you know, we're using a kingmaker here, and I'm gonna do, you know, a little bit over 1 top and 1 bar of left side spin. And you can see here we're going for a rough bump. And in this one, I pulled it at 20% elevation. No overpower, just a normal shot. And I've used a 1201 pull angle on all these shots, so maybe I need to change that. But as you can see, I miss severely to the right hand side. So then I'm like, okay, you know, I'll go ahead and use a money ball. So now we're going to be using a wind 5 ball and a power 3 ball. And I'm doing the same spin. So a little bit over 1 top, a little bit over, and then exactly 1 full bar of left side spin. And you can see here, I'm aiming on the left side of the cup. And as you can see, I really move my target up quite a bit. I've got about 1/4 of the yellow ring outside of the rough line. So I don't have my yellow ring right up on the rough. It's a little bit outside of it. And because of the wind 5 ball, we missed to the right still, but you know, about 1 green square to the right. So the wind 5 ball helped us out, you know, but the thing is, I'm nowhere close on that hole. And that's really frustrating, because the last time we played this hole in a tournament, I was holing one like crazy. So, you know, I really need to tinker around with that line in the next round. But, you know, if any of you have that one figured out, then you can always hit me up on Facebook and send me your shots. And we'll make sure it's something that can be duplicated out there. So, you know, let's figure that one out together. So, we're going to hop into hole number 3. Hole number 3 sucks. I'll be honest with you. It's not easy. It's a pretty challenging par 5. And that's just because of the drive. Every single opponent that I've run into so far in pro has birdied this. I haven't played an opponent one time who's picked up an eagle. So, here's what we're looking at on the drive. I'm going to recommend using a berserker. That way it makes our second shot easier. And I do believe you need to use your cataclysm or your big dog for the second shot. So don't forget to pack your bag for that. And what I'm trying to do here is use 10% elevation, and I'm trying to get my ball guideline to where I bounce over the rough onto the next part of the fairway. because the most important thing you need to know about this hole is we need to get our ball pretty deep into that fairway patch at the top here. So I got one bounce, and this time I cleared the whole thing. Like, that's the only time that I've done that, and I hit a great right. So, you know, you can't duplicate that. So that's not like a really good shot, but it ends up being a great shot. That's what we want to do with a perfect ball. That is exactly what you want your drive to look like, because that's where we need to be. If you hit it too short, even with your big dog or your Cataclysm, you're going to have a very difficult shot to the green on shot number 2. And here is shot number 2. Here's what you want shot number 2 to look like. You want to be able to use backspin and side spin to get your ball onto the green. Like, that's a great ball guideline. I didn't have to, you know, stretch out to overpower. You know, I can just take basically a normal shot here, and I'm on green, no problem. You know, this is the shot that we drop, it goes in, and I can't see that happening again. I mean, unless I get extremely lucky. But you know, the good part is we set up ourselves to get lucky. So, you know, sometimes they say luck favors the prepared. We had a great drive, which made shot number 2 easy, just to stick onto the green. All I was trying to do was stick onto the green, and then, you know, it went in the hole. So that's good. All right, so now we're going to hole number 4. So here's another money ball shot for you. Now, just so you know one thing about this hole, if you don't want to use a money ball, you absolutely do not have to. I would actually recommend taking this shot with a Navigator. A Navigator is a wind resistance 2, power 1 ball. And as you can see, I am also using a power 1 ball, but of course a wind resistance 5. That's going to make our ring pulls a lot easier, because on this hole, you know, I've seen like 6.5, 6.7 mile per hour wind. You know, and in that situation, you're going to be talking about moving 7 rings, when in this situation, we can really just move it a little bit over 4 because of how much we're cutting the wind down by. But either way, you don't have to use a ball like this, but if you're not going to, then definitely use a Navigator. And a Navigator can be played with the exact same spin adjustments. You're going to go 1 bar of left spin, 1.5 bars of top spin, 15% elevation at max distance of your club. Even though we're not at max, that is the number that we're using. And, okay, you need to have yourself an 1159 pull angle. So look at my wind right now. Look how it's blowing north. It's pretty much exactly north right now. What you want to eliminate on this particular shot is you don't want it going from north to right. That would be 1201. You want it going north to left. So that would be 1159. That's going to be really important on this shot, or else you're going to miss it to the right. And it's not a strong 1159. It's just slightly favoring that 1159. And you'll see that's a really good smooth roll into the cup. And I've dropped that one 2 out of 3 times with perfect balls. The first time that I missed it, I was actually had a pretty hard 1201 that I didn't notice, so that fixed it. Now this is the hole that I told you we're going to need to eagle for sure, hole number 5, and I want you to play it with an APOC. Now I know there's some people out there like using an extra mile power shot. Like, you can do that, but the only thing is I don't like to do that with water involved, because if you accidentally mess that up, then you're probably going to waterlog your ball, and then you're really dead trying to scramble and get back in the game on this hole. But I do have a very consistent apocalypse shot to show you that is going to be money every single time. So you're going to play at 10% elevation with a Kingmaker, and it's going to be so easy. Just use full top spin and full left spin like you're seeing right now. Put your blue ring on the rough line and then pull 10%. So blue ring on the rough, which you'll see here. There it is. Pull 10%. Push back up to max. Now you'll apply your overpower and full curl, but instead of hooking the ball, you are trying to hit perfect. And that's going to put you right up here on this fairway. And I know you're close to the rough, but I have not gone in the rough yet. You can try to use maybe 2 bars of side spin if that makes you nervous. But again, even with an APOC 5, and this is your wedge shot. I mean, this is such a simple shot to pin. You know, I don't really need to show anybody how to make this shot, but you know, there it is, it goes in. But here's an APOC 5. You notice my last one was an APOC 4, but I'm doing the same thing. It's blue ring on the rough line, pulling that 10%, pushing back up to max, applying your curl and overpower. You know, I take just a little bit off of it on this one. And this is even a great left shot. And it was a pretty bad great left. And you can see there plenty of room on the fairway. You know, and then we roll up here kind of in that same zone. But again, I haven't gone into the rough or anything. You know, and on this one I used the end-bringer on this account. So one with the wrapper, this one's an end-bringer. You know, same result either way. So hole number 5, everybody, you got to get that one figured out. Now what we're going to do on the hole number 6 is don't get yourself in trouble on the drive. Don't go right. I'm seeing a lot of people go right because if you crush that right drive, it gives you a pretty good line to the hole for an albatross, but it's just a really dangerous drive because you can easily end up in the rough or the sand. But for hole number 6, as you can see, I'm using a Titan ball, and I'm using 10% elevation, and then I'm just pushing it back up to max. And I'm using full topspin on my ball because we really want the ball to roll up as high on this fairway as possible, which is going to leave us in a really good sniper distance for the albatross opportunity. So we hit that one 419 with the Titan. You know, if you're thinking about using a money ball on this hole, you could even use like a berserker because that would give you more wind, so your ball will travel further and you'll get more power. So that would be probably a good ball to use. Or, you know, if you have no problem with the drive, but you want an easier second shot to pin, then if you have like a power 4 side spin 3 ball, wind resistance 2 or 3, that would put you in even better situation to albatross this hole because the side spin on shot number 2 would be pretty clutch. And this is what shot number 2 looks like. You can go for the rough bump. I decided to try to offset here pretty close to the rough line just to see if I could get this shot to drop. But I am playing this one at no elevation. As you can see there, I had my ball guideline going straight into the hole. But the problem is it really puts me up against this rough right here. So a great left, and I'd be in a lot of trouble. But you know, I may change this to a rough bump shot. But if you're a good rough bump player, you know, you can play that rough bump right there at no elevation. And as you can see, I hit a great left ball, or a great right, sorry, and I missed this one to the right-hand side. So I think we can albatross this, but a side spin 3 ball would be a big advantage on shot number 2. So if you're asking me what I'm going to be doing in the next round, I will not be using the Titan. I will probably go to a Kingmaker because I'm not too concerned about losing the wind on the drive, as I can use a lot of overpower and get the ball in the fairway. And then, you know, shot number 2 with a Kingmaker will reduce the wind and give me more side spin, which is going to be, you know, a big advantage for that shot. So that's what I'll end up doing moving forward. Okay, now this one, hole number 7, is I'm getting a little bit frustrated on. So, hole number 7 here, you know, what we're trying to do is we're going to use 20% elevation. And this is with a Navigator ball. This is, again, where you can use a Wind 5 Power 1 ball. Nothing wrong with that. But as you can see, a Navigator is plenty of power. And I just added a sliver of topspin on this shot. Okay, that gets us pretty close. You know, but let's take a look at this replay. So if you want to use a money ball, here's an example for one. Now what ultimately I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to line this up right at the pin. Now what's frustrating is when this course used to be in Tour 8, I used to just absolutely hole this shootout shot all the time. All right, so let's take a look at what we're going to be doing moving forward. So that spin is good. The only thing we need to look at here is my ball guideline. Okay, so look at the seams of the green. And by the seams, I mean, look where the dark green meets the light green. Right in the middle there is always kind of like a dark seam. Right now, my ball guideline is just barely on the left-hand side of that seam. I just need to either be on the seam or over to the right a little bit. And I think we're going to end up getting this shot to fall. Because you'll see here now with this wind resistance ball, we don't give as much as a push. And we come right in at the pin and barely miss. So this is what I'm feeling very confident about. We just need to move that landing spot just by a smidge, and we're going to be really good. So that's one right there. I would go back and watch again, because I don't think that you're going to see a lot of opponents hole-in-one this hole. I think you're going to see the hole-in-ones come from the other holes. But this one right here, we can hit this one, and I'm pretty confident that we're going to get this one 100% of the time. It's just going to be about finding that landing spot, and we'll be good to go. Okay, hole number 8. Now this is the one, again, that I said that you need the eagle if you want to get yourself into a gold situation for this tournament. And the good part is this is a very simple hole to eagle. So I'll show you this replay first. Again, this is for somebody who's looking for an advantage. This is using a home run ball. This is a Win 5 Power 3 ball. I will not be using this ball moving forward, just so you know. I'll be using a Kingmaker. I'm a big believer myself personally in saving my money balls for expert tournaments. But, you know, I'm getting a lot of people asking about money balls and can I show holes with money balls and stuff like that. So since I had a few donations come through last week, I thought, okay, I'll go ahead and burn a couple money balls just to show some people what they look like. But, you know, if you have a Win 5 Power 3 ball, it's like a home run ball, a Burns ball. I'm just trying to think of the ones off the top of my head. It can't be any easier of an eagle than this. So as you can see, we're going fairway to fairway here. Extra mile 8, I went ahead and applied full top spin. You know, a little bit of left side spin. I put my yellow ring right up on the rough line here. And then, you know, from here, we're just taking a normal shot. I'm not going to use any overpower. And you don't want to use any overpower because I have my landing spot so close to the rough as it is. And then we don't want this ball to go down to the rough here. So you can see this left us good room. But the reason that I'm playing on the right-hand side is because if you take a look at shot number 2, you're getting dead tailwind to the pin. And it's a minimum distance thorn shot, 0% elevation. You know, at this point, this is just an easy shot. You're just going to use backspin, and you're going to put your ball guideline directly into the cup. Just like that. You can pull minimum distance thorn numbers if you're in that same area as I am. And then from there, you just have to hit a perfect ball, and that ball should just drop every single time. Alright, so we're in the hole, no problem. Now, as you can see, this is, you know, my other account where I'm using a Kingmaker, and I'm kind of in that same zone with my drive. And I'm just lining this one up with a lot of backspin. Perfect shot, and that one was dead center of the cup. So that's, you know, it's a very simple eagle on this hole, and you need to get it. And, you know, you'll be in really good shape. What? Where's my hole number 9? Must be up here. Gotta do that again. You know, it wouldn't be a David Pendleton golf clash video if there wasn't, you know, me looking for another replay. I'm so unorganized with this stuff. Oh, okay, there it is. Well, this, I think this is the one that I messed up though. This isn't the one that I hit an albatross on. All right, so here we go. Hole number 9, 10% drive. Learn from my mistake. I'm using an extra mile 9 here, and I'm using way too much topspin. But I'm using 10% elevation, and I believe I roll into the rough. Now, this drive is not difficult. You're just gonna go from fairway to fairway. Don't hit a great left ball though, because you could easily go into that sand right there. As you can see, we pushed it a little close, and I roll way into the rough. Now, here's the good news. If you roll into the rough and you use a kingmaker like that, you have no problem getting to the green in 2 still. Yeah, it pretty much eliminates your chance of getting an albatross unless you get lucky. But for that particular hole, what I am going to do, and what had worked for me on my albatross that I got, was 5 bars of topspin, 2 bars of right side spin, and 1/2 of a ball of curl to the right, which keeps us away from that sand line. Now, with 5 bars of topspin, I still came really close to the rough on the top there. So, and you know, if I would have had a little bit more wind, then I would have definitely been in the rough. So for me, moving forward, I'm playing hole number 9 according to my notes with 4 bars of topspin, 2 bars of right side spin, 1/2 a ball of curl to the right. And then your approach on the second shot is actually pretty straightforward from there. It's going to be a 0% elevation shot, and you can actually just use a lot of backspin. And mine, I had 4 bars of backspin with 1 bar of left side spin, and I was actually able to aim directly in the middle of the cup. I hit a perfect ball and it went in. So that's the story on that. But anyways, I think we have a lot of really good content here. It's really just 1 or 2 of the par 3s that I need to clean up, and we're in really good shape. So I hope you found this helpful, and best of luck to you in your rounds. Thank you for watching.